Welcome everybody, here's a tutorial video for the preemptive uppercut. Okay, if you have landed on this video before looking at my introduction to preemptive striking, please have a look at that first and also get used to being in your fence. Have a look at the fence tutorial. That applies to all of these strikes. I want you getting used to being in this range. Okay, before I talk about the uppercut, you are going to need slightly different equipment to practice this if you're aiming for the jaw. Because obviously if you've only got a punch bag, you'll only be able to practice a driving uppercut into the solar plexus. It's going to be very difficult to uppercut a bag. So if you haven't got one of these bobs, use a partner and have focus mitts held in this position so you can drive it upwards. You can do it on your own. I've done it before where you can just get used to the motion of driving your hip up into this. But again, the only disadvantage of doing it on your own is you won't get that elbow throw to create more power. Okay, but there's nothing stopping you if you haven't got a partner. Again, if you are interested in this self-defense training, these bobs are worth their weight in gold, you know, especially for the targeting, you know, and obviously, you know, you can always rely on him. He's always here. So obviously if you do go through some training partners, which I did, get yourself one of these. They're not cheap, you know, I know that, but they really are good for this type of training. Okay, so the reason I practice the uppercut, as I said before, firstly, you just never know what you might be given if you are in a real situation. As I said, I'm going to show you 4 different strikes which you can, you know, adjust to suit yourselves. But it's a good shot just as a secondary option or a third option. If he goes backwards to put his guard up, you could just drive it straight in to his chin. The other reason I like the uppercut is that it's a good second option if you really didn't feel like hitting him in the head. Okay, you know, I said to you before, you know, I don't want to hit anybody, but if you feel your life's in danger, I would definitely recommend that you go for unconsciousness. But some situations just might not warrant that, you know, because obviously you could change the course of your life hitting somebody. So the driving uppercut into the solar plexus is another nice preemptive shot, just to perhaps, you know, spook the guy or put the wind literally into him so that you can escape. I wouldn't recommend it if the situation is really dangerous, you know, but it's certainly a good one for, I don't know, if you're at a party or something and perhaps you know everyone there and, you know, I don't know, you know, every situation is different. But the only thing is, if you don't get it right, you might annoy him more. So, you know, depending on the situation, you have to think about which shot to throw. But it is a nice one to win somebody. And obviously you won't do as much damage as you would hitting them in the head. So, okay, it's good for that. Another reason why I like practicing the uppercut, again, if someone is trying to take you down, if you miss the preemptive shot, it's another good shot to just keep firing repeatedly. If you sprawl backwards and the guy's trying to take you down, but doing a bad job of it, obviously. You see some people knee, you know, into the face, and I've often thought, you know, although that's got quite a good shot, why don't you just throw loads of uppercuts into his face, you know? So that if the guy was coming in, you know, and you've got the room obviously, because obviously you want to practice your sprawls, then just fire loads of frenzied uppercuts into his face. Yeah? And again, you know, I know some of you might think, oh God, that's over the top, but guys, if the guy's trying to take you down, he's not taking you down to give you hugs and kisses, he's going to batter you. So I said to you, I want to make you guys more ferocious than your attacker. Just fire loads of uppercuts into his face, honestly, and then hopefully you can escape. I did just mention sprawls, okay? I'm not going to teach you any grappling. It is certainly a range that's worth looking at, definitely. If you were to add another thing to your drills, it would be sprawls. If any of you are not familiar with what a sprawl is, it's to prevent being taken down. I can't do them anymore because of my hip. So, you know, I'm not going to teach it to you. And if you were looking at, you know, grappling for self-defense, you want to kind of look at anti-grappling which is what I just showed you. I would sprawl and just keep smacking the guy until I could get away. I don't want to go on the floor, but it's definitely a range that's worth looking at as a support system. And if you don't join a club, practice sprawls along with your thousands of repetitions of your punches. Throw in some sprawls, honestly. Have a look on YouTube for how to sprawl. It's not something I can show you, but if you miss this and somebody is trying to take you down or comes in with a windmill, I would recommend the sprawling and lots of uppercuts. You know, if you want a knee, that's fine, but I just think it puts you off balance, so I'd rather stay with 2 feet on the ground and just keep ploughing them in. I've seen some people, you know, in real situations have that and they're hitting downwards, you know, on the back of the head or elbowing. Again, up to you, but nobody likes being hit in the face, trust me. So that should slow him down at least, you know. Okay, so back to the preemptive. So I went off on a tangent then, but it's worth looking at that, okay. The uppercut, I'm going to go through the motions again. You want to be in this same fence position, okay. Even if you went for the solar plexus, I'd still work from the fence. So we try to say then. Okay, direct to the solar plexus there. Same thing. Or if I was here, you know, same thing. Can't we just talk about this? My uppercut is coming through almost like a combination between a hook and an uppercut. If you've seen boxing or done boxing or MMA or you'll see that an uppercut is often comes through, I'm exaggerating a bit, but comes through this way. In this instance, I'm encouraging you to go that way, straight out, rather than, you know, creating room for it and coming through this way. Because if you miss, you're going to leave yourself quite vulnerable. And I tend to find if you go with that uppercut, so I say in the text, I've tweaked it a little bit, that if you follow the natural path this way, you can change the angle of wherever it's going. If you come this way and throw up almost with a bent arm to hit the bottom of the chin, which is a great knockout if you connect, but if you miss, you're going to be very vulnerable. So I'd encourage you to go straight outwards under that chin. But again, if you're in your fence, especially if you're in an exclamation fence, your hand will probably be to his right, okay? Or even if you're in a submissive fence, your hand, once you practice this on a bob or a partner, you'll see what I mean. So you don't want to come round to come up underneath the chin, because then you have to change your position, which again he might pick up on. We want to be able to just throw it from where we are already, okay? I don't want to come round to bring this direct underneath his chin. So that's why I'm trying to turn mine almost into a combination between an uppercut and a hook. Remember guys, it doesn't matter what the hell you call the punch, as long as it does the job, all right? We're not here to perfect the punch, we're here to make you do a perfect punch to knock the guy out or to get yourself to safety, okay? As I said in the other two, as long as you're hitting hard and that's going to that jawline, I don't care where it comes from, you know? It hasn't got to be the perfect technique for the ring. It's got to be the perfect technique to possibly save your life, okay? So I'm not here to sort of say what's wrong or right. You need to tweak your punches to suit you, okay? So everything, I call it an uppercut because it's coming upwards, but you know, call it whatever you like. Right, let's get the motion right then, shall we? For you guys that are just starting out, I'll just put the pad down. So we want that same stance again from your fence, okay? And if you look at the cross, introduction to the cross, the tutorial, this motion is very, very similar. In the cross, I tell you to throw this arm back, keeping your hand open, rather than shoving it back tense. So you've got this motion going. The uppercut, certainly the driving uppercut, is very similar, but I'm just turning my hand this way. Again, if you're in an exclamation fence, that's great. So you can be from here, and then I'm going to drop that body weight a little bit, and then drive this hip again, like with that ball, throwing it into the solar plexus, hitting with these two knuckles in a slightly upward motion, depending on your height, okay? Straight line, direct to either the solar plexus or to the jaw. You've got to think about straight lines here, guys, with any of the punches. Direct to the target. I'm not moving, I'm not creating room. I'm just going straight to whatever fits. That's the key with all of these, okay? So this motion, you want to kind of drop a little bit, not obvious, you don't want to, you know, come up like this. Just slightly dropped already from your fence, and then have this motion going again with your breathing. So exactly the same as the cross, but turn your hand this way. Yeah, and think about flicking that weight upwards, and again from the center, from your core. Yeah, and if you are going straight up, it's exactly the same, but obviously because I'm changing the angle now, I'm throwing more weight down. If you look, I'm coming this way into the solar plexus from my fence, I'm probably going to be doing this. If I'm coming upwards, I'm doing this. So I'm shoving my elbow back more to try and get more of an upward motion, all from here, from this center. You might want to lift your feet. You know, I've got a bit more flexibility in my hip flexor to be able to keep my foot down. But obviously if you lift your foot, just make sure, like the cross, you don't step it back. Keep yourself planted into the floor and just drive it in again like you're stabbing at it. Just direct to the target, nothing's wasted again. It's the same motion, okay? And obviously because your hand is coming in this way already, you won't have to twist it, it's already there. Just straight in, and the same with here, straight line, yeah? So just do thousands or hundreds at least of this motion again. You know, when I'm practicing my cross, I'll often just turn the fist, because as I said, it's exactly the same. I'm still driving in with this weight in, yeah? Almost shoving the weight, using the hip and the core into this leg. But again, don't change position, don't change your feet, okay? Just try to get this going on. And again, targets, guys. If you're doing this on a bag, you know, I said to you in the other videos, draw your chin and your, you know, your jawline. Mark a point for the solar plexus too, because the driving uppercut, as I said, is a great shot as a second option if you just didn't quite want to, you know, knock them in the head. But be warned with that, because it's not enough damage to stop someone. You know, trust me, it won't stop. It might stop a few people, but I wouldn't guarantee it. You know, if you do feel in real danger, I'll definitely go for the jaw. And again, anywhere on the jaw. If you do find yourself here and you manage to get that one straight up onto the chin, then great. But if you've got your fence right, you would be more here rather than here. You know, this isn't a very good position. But if it's there, you know, take it, definitely. But it doesn't matter where you hit, as long as you come underneath this jawline. Just get his jaw and take him off the planet, okay? It's just wherever your hand is, just draw a straight line. Remember, practice your left as well. I'm only showing you the right again because of the camera angle, but practice both sides. Obviously change your fence to be in this side, okay? Remember your brain engaging question. So what are you trying to say then? So what are you trying to say then? Yeah? And let out your most ferocious kia as you can. If you are practicing the other uppercut I said, when, you know, someone's trying to take you down, Chris and I used to do this one quite a lot. Rather than bring the fist this way, obviously if you practice this on a bob or on a partner just gently, you'll see the jawline that you'll kind of need to turn your fist so that your palm is facing inwards, because if you don't, you're going to kind of connect with his chest or even his throat first. So you have to have the twist for the uppercut to the jaw and to the solar plexus as well, really. You want your hand facing you, you know? But when I'm doing that one, if I'm driving them into his face, I'm not going to turn my hand. I'm going straight in with this motion, just like a piston here, like this arm's just going, yeah, just straight up, but driving that hip in, because obviously if you're trying to sprawl and take down, so I'm not twisting, guys, I'm just coming straight in, yeah, but obviously more ferocious. You just want to get straight in and fire as many as you can whilst you are sprawling back. Okay, again, it's not pretty, it's not meant to be pretty, but it's a good technique if this fails, okay? And practice your sprawls as well. You know, as I said, I'm not going to teach you that, but there'll be plenty of information online for you to practice your sprawls, so that if you do miss this and someone tries to take you down, it's instinct that you put those legs back, okay? And as I said, you know, if you do want to throw knees, but I would rather keep both feet on the floor, personally. It's up to you, you know, play around with it, play around with your shots. Simplicity, guys, is the key to street self-defense, honestly. None of this is meant to look pretty. It really isn't. And if you've ever been in a real situation, you'll know it's not pretty. I would really keep your fancy looking moves, you know, in the ring or in the dojo. I would keep it simple, honestly. And all I'm trying to do is sort of encourage anyone that already isn't to be more ferocious than your attacker. You know, because I know some of you might think, well, that's a bit over the top. And you're welcome to think that. But, you know, believe you me, if you're being attacked, you have to be more ferocious than your attacker. That's the only way you've got a chance of surviving it. Okay, I just want to keep repeating that to you, because I know some of you are going to struggle to hit someone first. You know, and even I would. I'm not going to deny that. I don't want to be here. All this training is for if you mess up and you find yourself in a situation. We don't want to have to do any of this, okay? We really don't. Same, we're practicing this so that we don't have to use it. So play around with your punches. As with all the other punches, make them your own, call them what you want, but just make them fast, fierce, and really, really ferocious, okay? That's what we're aiming for. And stealth, okay? You know, shorten them down and make them as quick and unassuming and really, really surreptitious, you know, so that he's not expecting it. Can't we just talk about this? Yeah, and put everything into your shots. You know, we don't want to be spreading ourselves over rounds. Spread yourself over one shot, straight to that target, okay? That's how I want you to be thinking, all right? I hope you enjoyed this video. As I said, most of the techniques on this come from the cross, so have a look at that one. And again, if you still want more info on the uppercut, you know, get in touch and I'll do another video. But as I said, if you look at the cross, you should be able to tweak this to suit. It's exactly the same. Just go direct to the target in that motion, wherever he is, as if you're pushing back. Don't think like a conventional where you're coming back on yourself. That's my advice. Again, you know, make your own choices, okay? Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you again soon.